I thought I would update you on what's been going on the last week or so. I have recorded this is probably my 7th or 8th attempt. I keep losing my temper. So hopefully this will be the one that takes. This really is for informational purposes for everybody in the United States, because this is getting more and more serious. My wife had been sick for about, I think she was on day 8 of being sick. So the reason we didn't take her after 3 or 4 is because the emergency room is becoming less and less useful. So we took her to the emergency room because she was ill, to try to get her some kind of medicine or something that could help. They hooked her up to the monitors. They got us back there after about 4-hour wait time. While I was waiting for the 4 hours, of course, I looked it up in 2001. Apparently the average, 2001, 2002, something like that. The average wait time in the ER was 43 minutes. And we got in 4 hours, and that's the fastest we've gotten in the last 2 years. So be prepared for long wait times at the emergency room, because that's what you're going to have. We finally get back there. They hook up to the monitors and everything. And her heart rate was, of course, elevated because she's constantly in pain. And it was elevated because she was sick on top of that, of course. Blood pressure was elevated. They hooked her up to an IV. They gave her some saline because she was obviously dehydrated, which is pretty common when you're ill. And she got about a third of that bag before they kicked us out. They gave her a nausea med that doesn't work on her. They were told beforehand doesn't work on her. The nausea med that does work on her is called Phenigrin. I don't know very much about it. She said doctors can't prescribe that anymore because it is a scheduled drug. So now it's not just opioids, apparently. Now it's everything. Of course, she's in excruciating pain. Her heart rate, now you have to understand that it almost seems impossible. And if I hadn't seen it for myself, I don't know that I would have believed it. But her heart rate can reach now, because of 4 years of her heart having a constant workout, her heart now can withstand some extremely high heart rates. I was shocked. They're actually so high that when I put my ear to her chest, I can't count in my head fast enough to keep up. Not an exaggeration. Her heart rate was spiking about it'll just spike up for a few minutes and then come back down. While we were in the ER, it spiked up twice in the about hour and a half we were there. Once was to 240. The other was to 238. They, of course, came in and said, it's the machine. Keep retaking it, giving her heart time to calm down so that they keep getting so that they can get the number that they want. I, however, luckily took pictures of the monitor 4 different times. 206 is what I got. 238, 240, and 234 were the 4 numbers I got on heart rate. Blood pressure, like 150 over, well, at one point it was 170 over, I don't remember, 90, somewhere around there. While the machine is beeping like crazy, the first time it happened, 2 nurses ran in expecting to see a code blue. Oh my God, what's wrong? What's happened? They were ready to do CPR. They walk in the room. My wife looks at them like, what? This is normal, guys. I don't know why you're freaking out. We keep telling you this. You keep ignoring it, but we keep telling you this. And of course, they're like, it's impossible. You can't possibly have a heart rate of 240. You would die. And for someone that hasn't had a heart workout for the last 4 years, that would be very true. But if you curl 30 pounds weightlifting and you do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 years, how much are you going to be able to curl at the end of that 4 years? It's going to be a lot more than 30 pounds. Now, isn't it? Because the heart's just like a muscle, just like any other. The difference is in curling, if you did that, you would probably tear a bicep or something like that eventually. And our heart doesn't do it all the time. Originally, it started out as it would spike up to maybe 140, 145. This has been a couple of years ago. It'd stay up there for, anywhere from a minute to 2, and then it would come back down. Now it's still staying up there for about a minute or 2. It's not staying up there long. But now it's worked its way up over the years to where now her heart can withstand 240. Imagine what that feels like. Doctors are going to say, well, that's impossible. There's no way that's possible. Here's my answer to that. How could doctors possibly know? Throughout all of human history, we've always had some kind of leaf to chew on or something we could make into a tea. Humans have never been asked to go untreated for a condition for 4 years. Never. Deer eat plants for painkiller purposes. All animals eat plants for painkiller purposes. The last time I checked, humans were animals. And our medical community now is treating animals better than humans. This is coming. In 2 or 3 years, this will be the topic because people are going to be dying from it. I don't know how long she's got left. 6 months? 6 years, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I just know 240 is not a good heart rate. And you can say, well, it's the machine or whatever. My ear is not a machine. I heard it. The funny part is, throughout all of this, throughout this entire hour and a half in the ER, not one stethoscope was placed to her chest. Not one. They gave her 2 Tylenol. And when her heart spiked the second time to the 234, I think is what it was, while the machine is going off, the nurse is actually saying to me, I couldn't believe it came out of her mouth, there's no indication of her having a high heart rate. I couldn't believe I was seeing it. I was like, I know nurses are not dumb. Okay. So this is not her opinion. This is what she is being told to tell people. This is what she's being trained to tell people. Because this has happened now at 4 hospitals. Different hospitals. Different networks. Different everything. They gave her 2 Tylenol and couldn't get us out of that emergency room fast enough. Basically, what I'm suggesting is that behind the scenes, the nurse practitioner, because we never did see a doctor, all we saw was nurse practitioner. Nothing against nurse practitioners, they're very qualified. Basically, she walked out of that room and said, get this woman out of my ER before she dies. Because I'm not writing her a script. I'm not giving her pain meds. Why? Not because the doctor doesn't want to, or the nurse practitioner doesn't want to. Because they're not allowed to. Now, I've gotten 3 different sources. Some tell me it's the American Medical Association. Some tell me it's the what was the second one? I don't remember now. But now the most recent thing, then I've heard this one twice from two different sources, that it's the DEA. Basically, the DEA is telling these doctors, if you write one of these scripts, we are going to prosecute you as a fucking drug dealer. And this medicine is life-saving medicine. Would you allow a doctor to deny a cancer patient chemotherapy? You have to get through that brainwashing. This brainwashing that I have been exposed to for the last 50 years, the brainwashing you have been exposed to for the last 50 years, that drugs are bad. Drugs aren't bad. Drugs used improperly are bad. But she needs 15 milligrams of hydrocodone 4 times a day. That's all she needs. This is a very basic, long history of being a proven medication that works and works specifically on her. She's not an addict, but now they treat everybody like an addict. If you come in with a stubbed toe and you need something for pain, you're a fucking addict. And that's how they treat you that way. Get this spread around to everybody you know. The world needs to know about this. Well, this country needs to know about this because nobody does. And to be honest with you, if somebody told me this story, I would think they were crazy. If I hadn't seen it for myself, I would have ignored it. I would have blown it off. And 3 months later, whenever that person died, I would not be able to sleep at night because I blew it off. For your future conscience, for your future mental stability, you need to spread this around to everybody. Everybody you work with, everybody you talk to on social media, everybody needs to know this information. My best estimate is that there are 100,000 people that are in her situation. This happened to her 4 years ago. She was one of the first patients. She's from the first round, at least as far as I know. She is from the first round of patients that had these life-saving medications taken from them for literally no reason. Well, sounds conspiratorial, but I don't see any other way to look at it. They are trying to execute her and people like her. Please spread this around. Get this information out there. There are 340 million Americans in this country, and everybody needs this information in front of them. Whether they hear it coming out of my voice or whether they hear it coming out of your voice, but you need to spread this information around to everybody. Everybody that will sit still for 5 minutes, explain this story. Provide this link. All right, I got through the worst of it without losing my temper. So, I'm begging everybody that's listening to this. Her life depends on this. And this is not hyperbole. This is not exaggeration. If your heart spiked to what hers is, it would tear, just like any other muscle. The only difference is that she's had 4 years to build up that muscle to where now it can withstand this. But where's the limit? 260? 270? Imagine living your life knowing that your spouse might be dead in the other room. Like I said earlier, this might last 6 months. She might make it. She might make another 6 years. But imagine trying to live your life with the doubt that it might be 6 minutes. Nobody would live like that. If we had any other alternative, I would not be telling you this. We have exhausted everything. More than 100 different medications we've tried on her in every way, shape, or form. We're talking kratom, Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, acupuncture, chiropractor, massage therapy. The list goes on and on and on. We've been dealing with this for 15 years. The last 4 years, they have taken her medication away from her. the medication that is keeping her alive. At the time, we didn't know it was keeping her alive. When they first took her off of it, it was like, okay, well, life's just going to suck. Okay, well, at least it's not life-threatening. Turns out, after 4 years of being denied these medications, your body starts ripping itself apart on the inside, and it does become life-threatening. Now, her life is literally hanging by a thread. I have no idea if this is my last day with her. Every day, I say that to myself when I wake up. This could be my last day with her. It's usually after I put my hand on her and realize she's still breathing and sigh of relief. This information needs to get disseminated, because in 2 years, when people are dying from this, it's going to be the topic. And you can tell everybody, I've been telling you this for 2 years. They are killing people. They are killing people by the thousands. And I know this is a sensitive topic to everybody, but I want you to really think about this, because this is 100% the truth. Our country is executing these 100,000 people. They're doing it on purpose, and they're doing it less humanely than the Nazis killed the Jews or Stalin killed the Ukrainians. He just made them starve to death. That's a much quicker death than what they're subjecting her to. And we don't even know how long the sentence is. We don't even know how long she's going to last. Please tell everybody, all of your coworkers, your bosses, get this on your company email list. Everything. This has to get around, because it's not just her life. There's 100,000 other people that are depending on you as well.